Check this out, baby.
Some breaking news right now. Disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein has taken his own life while he was behind bars here in New York City. Epstein was facing sex trafficking charges. NBC News investigative correspondent Tom Winter now has the very latest. Tom, what more do we know?
Peter, what we know now is that at 6:39 this morning, the fire department and EMS here in New York City got a phone call from MCC, which is a federal detention facility here in Manhattan in New York City, where Jeffrey Epstein was being held awaiting trial. They took him to New York's downtown hospital. He was in cardiac arrest. And he was pronounced there. What we know from officials that have been briefed on what happened, he was found and appeared that he had hung himself in his cell or wherever he was being held within MCC, and he was found by prison officials this morning, and that's when they reached out and they called EMS in unsuccessful attempts to revive him. So that happened early this morning, and right now what we're trying to do is figure out if he was still on suicide watch, because there was an incident that occurred several weeks ago where he injured himself. It wasn't quite clear if that was an attempt on his life, an attempt to perhaps stage an attack. The details of that were never really kind of hashed out, if you will. So this morning there's some significant questions on how somebody who it was such a high-profile defendant, somebody who had connections that went up to a current president, could be found dead, and how this could have happened.
Yeah, Tom, you're exactly right. Again, for our audience just joining us right now, NBC News has now confirmed that financier Jeffrey Epstein has taken his own life at a jail here in New York City. We will, of course, be following the latest developments over the course of this day.
We're back right after this.
Trump said of him, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many are on the younger side."
A wicked man.
And the video captures Donald Trump and Epstein chatting while watching a group of women at the party dance. It's not an image that matches Trump's declaration.
The president was asked about the arrest last night.
They're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
The 66-year-old was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. In his early 20s, he taught physics and math at the Dalton School, an elite Manhattan prep school. Connections he made there got him a job at the investment bank firm Bear Stearns. He then went on to open his own finance firm in 1982. And that's where he amassed his fortune. His firm reportedly only accepted clients worth $1 billion or more. Epstein tried to lead a private life, but his work managing the money of the very wealthy got him into some very high-profile social circles. He became friendly with former President Bill Clinton and current President Donald Trump, also Britain's Prince Andrew. Epstein has 6 residences, including an entire private island in the Caribbean and this $56 million mansion. The 7-story house is one of the largest private residences in Manhattan. These recent charges include allegations he sexually abused underage girls from 2002 to 2005 inside his Manhattan and Palm Beach homes. When he faced similar allegations a decade ago, federal prosecutors in Florida struck a secret plea deal with Epstein. He avoided a possible life sentence in prison and spent 13 months in Palm Beach jail, where he was allowed to leave for work 6 days a week. That 2008 plea deal was negotiated in part by Trump's current labor secretary, Alexander Acosta, who was then the top federal prosecutor in Miami. Now, prosecutors and investigators are seeking to hold Epstein without bail and have appealed for other victims to come forward.
Your bravery might just empower others to speak out about crimes committed against them. It's important to remember there never was, nor will there be, an excuse for this kind of behavior.
Epstein could face up to 45 years in prison.
He shot and murdered 20 people and injured 26 others, including precious little children.
Come to me. What will it be? Ice cream?
Yes, ice cream! Please,
chocolate?
chocolate!
It's all inside. Come along.
If Epstein is found guilty, the government wants to seize this property worth tens of millions of dollars. Two of Epstein's accusers were in court with their attorney, Brad Edwards.
They're very courageous, and they want to encourage others to come forward. That's why they're here.
The 66-year-old financier once had a network of powerful friends, including President Bill Clinton and England's Prince Andrew. In 2002, Donald Trump said of him, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many are on the younger side." The president was asked about the arrest last night. A 14-page indictment says Epstein sexually exploited and abused dozens of minor girls at his home in Manhattan and Palm Beach, Florida. This woman, Shantae Davis, took Inside Edition inside the secret world of the so-called Lolita Express, named after the iconic fictional character from the book and movie. Epstein allegedly used a private jet to fly underage girls to sex parties. Shantae was Epstein's personal masseuse.
On almost every trip that I did go on, there were young girls around.
The Miami Herald spoke to all these women who say they were molested by Epstein when they were underage. Writer Vicky Ward was one of the first journalists to expose the allegations against Epstein.
You've got this country's sort of most aggressive prosecutors going after this man at a time where there is zero tolerance for this kind of sick behavior.
Then, in the early hours of Sunday morning, Dayton, Ohio, another twisted monster. We are outraged and sickened by this monstrous evil, the cruelty, the hatred, the malice, the bloodshed, and the terror.
Focusing attention on the circle of women who allegedly recruited underage girls for Epstein. According to court documents, they included former model Adriana Ross, Sarah Kellen, an interior designer now married to NASCAR driver Brian Vickers, Epstein's trusted former personal assistant Leslie Groff, and Nadia Marcinko, who is now a pilot and flying instructor. Jennifer says she feels guilty for not reporting the alleged rape at the time.
If I wasn't afraid to come forward sooner, then maybe he wouldn't have done it to other girls.
As I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
They are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated.
Peace.